Hello, people. It's me again. Uh, again, using my recollections as a tool of investigation when it comes to the environment that we sometimes deal with at the workplace. I mentioned this before on a previous video that I removed, but I'm gonna recreate it again. This is I don't know if you guys remember the Wiggles. They were a group that I think they were from Australia. You know, they had children's videos and children's music. I remember my son used to love watching the Wiggles. Now, the reason why I'm using this image today is, you know, basically to emphasize that even the young people nowadays, obviously not underage, but even young people, actually even your underage kids are pretty messed up. I remember a few years ago, my daughter, when she was going to school, she told my wife that two little girls uh, in the lobby where she was enlisting herself in that particular school, they were around the age of 11, 12. They were talking about hanky panky. And based on what my daughter told my wife, the language was pretty strong for girls that age to be talking. I mean, even my wife was amazed, when my daughter told her what those two other girls were talking about. Well, obviously, it's a bit disturbing to hear such young people talk that way. That includes boys, and any other identity. But my point here today is that I remember when it came to student interns, and this is in probation. This was a while back. It was on the fourth floor. There was an area where four students actually fit. That used to be, I think, a printer room. It wasn't really an office. It was more like a space where you would put printers or scanners and things of that nature. Well, that was turned into a small. Those were they were like very tiny cubicles where four students would sometimes be put in there. And I remember one time I was helping them out. I believe Shanita was there too. Yeah, I know she was in there, but I believe that day she was there. She was pretty much supervising them, giving them pretty much the guide, the guidance of how it is, to work, for federal government and in a professional platform. So she was like their team leader. Well, the point is, one of the students, I assume they were all 18 and up. I don't know if they were, to be honest. But I'm pretty sure they were. They were of age. They were not minors. But there was one that would, and again, guys, I'm not saying these things to try to sound like I'm, a hot looking guy, whatever, because I'm not. I'm just a simple guy. I don't, in my opinion, I don't even look good. Out of 10 being the highest, I would probably classify myself as a 4, maybe even a 3 in looks, to be honest. My point is that even when you don't look that great, I'm just surprised that today's society, girls or females, don't really care. They don't care about age, of the guy, which again, I guess these are personal preferences. But I recall her flirting with me, and the other girls there would laugh. I would not laugh. They would smile, with a little grin in their face, like they know what's going on. But that particular student, one thing that she kept, playfully repeating, while I was helping somebody else, she would just say the word "I want some," but in Spanish. That's the only difference. It was in Spanish, and then she would repeat it again. And the first few times I did not understand why she was saying that, but she repeated over while the others would smile, this little cynical grin on their face. And then all of a sudden I caught onto their game. And even on my way out, while I was leaving, again, she repeated the same words. The same words. I want some. And all the others were, with that little silly grin on their face. I think my bigger point here that I want to make is, this is the society we live in. This is the world we live in. Unfortunately, society today has become very decadent. If we're not careful, it can affect us all in one way or another. Obviously, you can't force morality into people. Just like you can't force anything, or you should not be able to force anything onto any individual. That's why I don't believe when people start blaming others. Well, he or she, no. We're each responsible for our own actions. And to be honest, that particular young lady, she was not, in my opinion, she was not that attractive anyway. So, but again, to me, I think the sadder thing is that, wow, so young, so young, and already they have that mentality. I know the older ladies are not, in my opinion, again, they're not that bad. The older ladies, maybe 40 and up, at U.S. probation, they're not that promiscuous. But the younger, it seems like the younger they are, the more liberal or the more free they are, or, the more promiscuous they are. Which again, I'm not there to judge, but and here's the bigger point. But these are details that, again, human resources does not see. The Me Too movement does not see. Those that have, concerns of some kind of harassment or assault, they don't see these little details from the female side. That's the reality. That's the total, the complete, and I've said it before in many other forms and with many other people, even older. If we're going to fix the problem, that, because, literally I've become a little obsessed with the subject, I've seen so many guys getting fired from things that they actually did wrong. Because again, I'm not saying, a lot of these guys did not do their part, some of them I believe were serious, true victims, but a lot of the guys, yeah, they did mess up. They did screw up. They did to a certain extent deserve to get, removed from the workplace. But again, the bigger picture is not always understood. These females should not be provoking guys. And obviously guys should not let themselves be provoked. It's a two-way street. My bigger concern is that, once again, only, my experience is only the guys get removed, and the women, even after having a bad history, not just one event, even women having a known history of flirting around, of improper behavior, a lot of hanky-panky, a lot of sleeping around, a lot of promiscuity, they still keep them. Which, again, I'm not saying let's fire everybody, but why is it so one-sided? Again, why is it so one-sided? I know my comments got me fired, but women there make worse comments than mine. So it's not just about the hanky-panky thing, it's also about comments, Like I mentioned before, the gay community criticizes God, the Bible, Catholics, etc. I don't think that's right. I've heard women use very vulgar language, very nasty language, like I mentioned before. See, guys can't necessarily do that, They quickly get in trouble and removed and so forth. But again, focusing again on the youth, on the younger ladies, the student interns, those girls, most of them are actually, very pretty, very cute, etc. They're young. That this one in particular was, in my opinion, was not that attractive, but still, the mentality, their language, their the message that they're putting out there, it's not good. And human resources should train, be more elaborate when it comes to behavior from all sides, not just Because again, men are always the ones demonized. Like I mentioned in one of the previous videos, where there's a guy grabbing a female's breasts. You should also, hey, you like one of the videos I put, you should also show a video of a girl smacking a guy in the behind, and also saying that's wrong and that somebody should report that. From all ages. I emphasize this one because that might also be a big liability that young girls provoke, and guess what? Most guys will act on it. Most guys will act on it. I know, like I mentioned, that girl was, to me, in my opinion, she wasn't that attractive, but most guys don't care about that. Most guys will just go on in, and sure, let's do this. But these are things that are not seen. Like one of the other videos, of the so many that I mentioned, it's a very understudied behavior of women, but very dangerous. And that's why, even the article said it's invisible. That behavior is invisible to experts. It's invisible to experts, yet it's there. And they don't care for those, very serious details. Because, what if a guy did that? What if there were 4 guys in that little printer room, or ex-printer room, and the IT person was a girl, and one of the guys, in a flirtatious way, even if it's in humor, would say, I want some, We all know that won't fly. We all know that, that's extremely inappropriate, when a guy does it. But what about when a girl does it? It should be as equal. I know there's just a double standard out there. But again, this is where HR should actually be truly productive and truly intelligent and truly fair and equal, and show empathy that towards the circumstances men go through at work, the pressure that men live when it comes to females offering themselves so easily. In my opinion, that could even cause, I don't know, some kind of trauma, because it's to men, because like I've mentioned before, it's like putting a kid in a candy store, and you tell the kid, no, you can't, you can't, it's all free, all this candy's free, but you can't take any. That's a heck of a situation there. And again, this is something that I think is very underestimated, understood, ignored, or dismissed. I know for sure dismissed in my case. But something needs to be done. Something serious needs to be done to equate the platform, the playing field for all sexes, to be held accountable equally across the board, and be heard equally across the board, and be held accountable. Not just one a slap on the hand and the other one termination. No. Equally. If one is terminated for this, the other one should be terminated for the same thing. And we're not seeing that. We're not seeing that. At least the U.S. District Court of Puerto Rico and Probation, we're not seeing that at all. It's truly unfair. It's disgusting, in my opinion. And again, and this applies to any HR anywhere in the world. Let's do a better job. Let's do better at trainings, at orientations, when it comes to these subjects. And let's truly enforce these things. We have to enforce the trainings, not just say things and then just apply it to guys, because that again is an extension of targeting. They're targeting primarily the male versus the female, and that is misandry. I've been saying it over and over again. But again, I remember that girl. I remember her clearly. That she actually became an employee, and after I think like a year or so or 2, she was terminated. I can't recall the circumstances. Who knows? Maybe she was terminated for this, and I never became aware of it. And maybe I'm wasting my time creating this video. I don't know. I don't know why and I can't remember her name. Honestly, I try, but I can't remember her name. But again, that's her language. That's what that girl and many girls put out there, not just student interns. And this obviously is contributing to the poisonous waters of the workplace, of the toxic workplace, and that should not be. Again, that should not be. because we all know who gets hit the hardest. You know, everybody knows. Everybody knows. Well, that's my video for today.